So, hi everybody, welcome to Universal Truths. We are here to help you. We both teachers and been teaching for a long while, and we were taught material and provided material from source that dates back to ancient Egypt and ancient and Atlantis. So, very good information that's very helpful, especially especially now in 2024, right, where it's quite difficult for everybody. So, yeah, so I'll hand over to you so you can introduce yourself and just give us a brief synopsis of yourself.
Well, like you said, we've been asked by our guides, our inner wisdom, to come forward now and to share in this year, 2024. And I came across Philippe. I heard him on a podcast recently, and I was so struck by how similar our backgrounds are that I reached out to Philippe, and we've had some wonderful times talking and sharing our stories. So we've been moved to bring these teachings forward and a lot of our experiences. So we look forward to being able to share. And I know, Philippe, you have your course and I have my teachings and trainings. We've both been working kind of in parallel realities, doing very similar things, having similar initiations and teachings, experiences. So we started doing this together because what I got from my guidance, my wisdom, is how powerful it would be for you as an audience and for the world at large to be able to hear two people having similar experiences, and we'll be able to dive in deeper. We'll be able to explore them, with you and also with each other, and be able to maybe make this more available for everybody. Because what I really want to share and why I want to do this is I know this is possible for everybody. It's very accessible. We've both done a lot of inner work to get to this point. And that's one thing that was very inspiring, hearing you, Philippe, speak to this, how the more we do the inner work, the more we do that deeper work, we're more prepared. And so I know a lot of people are maybe struggling, maybe challenged at this time. And so we're here to offer any wisdom, any insights from our own experiences. And also from hearing Philippe, I'm going to ask you soon about your course now. You have an amazing course. We had a wonderful conversation just this week. And so I'm really excited that we're doing this. So anything you want to add?
Yeah, so thank you for that great introduction. Yeah, it's very exciting. And as you mentioned, 2024, yeah, this is the year. Everybody can relate to the fact that it's been tough on many levels, especially on an emotional level. And this is where we come in with our expertise on dealing with these emotional issues, emotional blocks, fears, traumas, and those need to be cleared to enable yourself to move forward. And these are the teachings that we bring that are very ancient, that were transmitted to us, and we use these techniques to help ourselves with the introspective work. And then we bring this to the wider audiences to help mankind, for those that are ready to take up the challenge and to do the work and to pass through this difficult phase that everybody finds himself at the moment. So the course is set out in some modules, and I've laid them out in a certain order that they mesh nicely into one into the other. So there's continuity and there's development, there's progression within the course, which is absolutely critical. I think it's important to have that flow through the course so you can actually feel the benefit as you're actually doing the work. So in the first portfolio, there's 3 modules. The first module is about facing the mirror. The second module is about peeling back the layers. And the third module is facing fear itself. Whenever I interview someone who wants to take on the course, the first thing I ask them is, are you able to work within truth? This is critical, because if you cannot be completely honest with yourself, then you're going to be leaving gaps in your progression. You're going to omit, you're going to avoid certain things that you should be looking at to clear. And those are the difficult things. That's the hard part about the course, is looking at those things that in the past we didn't want to look at. But 2024 is the year of looking at those things that will come to the fore. So it's important that we actually face those things and are ready for that. So when I ask the question, are you ready to work within truth? Are you able to work with absolute truth for yourself, not for me? The answer should be yes. If the answer is no, then I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place, because this course will not be beneficial. So yeah, we go forward from there. And if the answer was yes, I can work within absolute truth with myself, then that's great. Then, we're on the good, we've got a good foundation, and we can move ahead and make some good progression. And so the first module is primarily about establishing that rapport with yourself. So facing the mirror is about actually looking into the mirror and being honest with yourself in the mirror and deciding, this is what I want to achieve. I have good points and I have bad points. And of course, those bad points are relative terms. There could be something you're not very keen on, or it can be something that you're very, very, very not keen on. So these levels are, of course, perspectives, depending on where you are, and everybody's different. So we need to establish those, let's call them lists, to see where we need to do the work. Obviously, the things we're happy with, we can put those to one side. We don't need to work on those. But the ones we're not happy with, we dive into those aspects. And then these are the ones we can choose. We can decide whether we want to change them or we're happy with them, even though we feel there's something we don't like. But what are the chances of not liking something and wanting to hang on to it? Very slim. Most people will choose to change. And I think the main objective is to do the work and to slide all those things we don't like about ourselves into the column that we do like about ourselves. That's the process, the basic process of the first module. The second module is where it gets a bit more intense. We go a bit deeper into the list itself. We take actually one individual aspect, one particular part of that you've listed, and we look at what it means to us. And we start to ask the questions about that. We can imagine that to be like an onion where it's got many layers. And right at the center of the onion, we have the truth of the actual aspect of the topic or subject that you listed. And so we go and through each layer, we ask the hard questions. And again, working with absolute truth for ourselves, because this is personal work. We ask how and why, when this happened, who was involved potentially, and we really ask the hard questions. Once we find an answer with all those questions, we're able to remove one of the layers. And the answer we got, we turn that into the next topic. We ask the same hard questions about that particular layer. And we carry on and so on and so on, and we eventually get to the center, to the core issue of why this situation actually came about, why it exists in our lives. Once we reach the center, we have choices. We can choose to accept it or we can choose to deny it, but somehow we have to take ownership. That's the end goal, is to take ownership. Once we've taken ownership, then we actually take away the power of that particular event that's holding us back, that's causing us to react negatively. We feel that it's a negative reaction. Once we get to the center, to the core, we've taken on responsibility or assigned responsibility, then we manage to transmute that particular energy that's stored within the aura. And then we move on to the next phase, still within peeling those layers. So that's a process. It can take, depending on the size of your list, take a long time. If you work really hard, it can be really short and sharp and sweet. Again, that's something that you decide for yourself. And then the third module is about facing fear. And what you realize by having done the first two modules, you've already started to face fear in a big way. By the time it comes to actually facing fear itself, we go into the reasons why we think fear is fear, when actually it's just an emotion. And it's just an emotion. It's a protective mechanism to save the organism, to save the human body in times of danger. So fear is necessary. It never goes away. But in the end, we end up controlling fear. Fear no longer controls us. So having been through the first two modules, we end up in the third module facing fear and realizing what fear really is. And then we actually, at the end of all this, we realize that, wow, it's actually not that bad. I can actually go and confront fear now quite happily and understand what fear is, because it's about insight and understanding. Once we have that, then we empower ourselves. And that's the crux. And obviously, there's many more aspects to the Universal Truths material. But this gives you a good idea of the level and the direction of work that we're going into with this course. And this is imperative. 2024 is about facing these issues. And this is a guaranteed method. These are tools that you will have for life, that you can hand and pass down to friends, relatives. Once you've helped yourself at this level, you become empowered at a certain level that you are actually able to help others. So it's very, very powerful material, very powerful information. So yeah, if you want to be helped, then we are here to help you. So yeah, I think for me, that sort of wraps up the introduction to the actual Universal Truths course. So I'll hand back to you, and you can discuss maybe some of the modules and the aspects of the courses that you run.
So there's a lot of different ways people can work with me. I tend to do more one-on-one, although I am expanding more into group work. I work completely with the higher self or the source, whatever aspect, the highest aspect and I teach people how to access this for themselves. And I'm kind of like a facilitator in that process where I can help give you insights, give you tools, give you trainings so that you can enhance that. So a lot of it is working with the intuitive. It's working with the whole brain. It's working with the whole multidimensional aspects of who we are. So it's very deep in our work. There's a lot of fun. And a lot of our work is very complementary because I know we both work a lot with trauma. Like your course addresses a lot of aspects of trauma. And I've done a lot of, I offer a lot of inner child. I offer deep regressions, hypnotic work. We work with different brainwave states. Essentially, my work is to empower everybody, to make this very accessible so that you have your own access, you have your own way of knowing and trusting. The people that I work very closely with and have worked with for years, they're able to do a lot of what I do. So I know that this works. I know I can transmit it. And people can work in whatever they can use it. It's very practical. I have people creating whole new industries. They're pioneering new paradigms in the world with what I teach, because these are ancient teachings. And I personally can work with my multidimensional self, and I can help people to expand more, because I feel that, especially now, we're moving into more and more, we hear about 5D, but there are other dimensions also available where we can tap into even higher, more source aspect wisdom and information, which then gives us that multidimensional 360 wisdom and perspective on life. So I'm really excited to work with Philippe, because I know that a lot of what we do is complementary. We've had so many conversations already, and when you were talking about the trauma, how you help people with trauma, myself, I've gone through intense trauma, very extreme trauma. I have a trauma history. And I know with the work I've done over the decades, I know the value of what Philippe is offering, because it's addressing that deep core multidimensional aspect of who we are. And that's when you can use your whatever it is you're healing. You know, you don't have to have, everyone's traumatized to some extent. I think the last 3-4 years, we can all agree it's been a little bumpy ride in the planet, globally speaking. So we've had a lot of collective trauma happening, which has also brought up a lot of our personal trauma. So these teachings are perfectly timed and so wonderfully available now as tools to support us in our next era as a collective and individually. So what I'm excited to share, and this is going to be a journey, you know, we're learning even in this moment to how to bring this through to you, how this is going to be able to affect us all. Because when one person does this deep inner work, I think what we need to remember and honor is it impacts us all, because we are all connected, we are all in the oneness, and we're all source. We're all able to access this. So yeah, I'm just really excited and honored, and it's a deep joy, deep privilege. I live in bliss, you know, I can honestly say that it's time now for me to come forward and share this with everyone. And so I'm so grateful that we've met, Philippe, and yeah, it's going to be wonderful. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's a great description of what you do. And you touched on something that I think I failed to mention in my course, where the intention is obviously from both our sides is to empower you, firstly, to give you the tools to empower you. And secondly, is to assist you in connecting with your particular higher self, because there's only so far that we can take you. You will get to a certain level where you have to become best friends with your higher self to get through the last phases. So that's very, very important. And this is something that we both teach. How do you connect with your higher selves? A lot of people are asking this particular question. How do we do that? It's not very complicated. You just need to be explained and shown how to do it. So the intention from both of us is to share the information we were given. This very ancient information, which is very powerful. Once you start working with it, you realize this is life-changing material. This is the big league stuff. You know, this is very, very important for everyone. So we bring our own perspective, our own version, our perspective of this particular truth, these tools that we have. And you just need to see for yourself who you resonate with, what feels right for you. If this feels like the kind of thing you feel you should be doing, then of course, please get in touch. And we will help all the way. This is what we're here to do. So once again, thank you very much for viewing this, and hopefully, we will hear from you soon, and we can get some work done together.
And if I can add one thing,
yeah.
I'm here also. I'll be on the Facebook page, the Universal Truths Facebook page. So feel free to, wherever you're viewing this, wherever you're accessing this, you can ask questions, you can leave comments. I'm also available at on Instagram. I don't know how long I'll be able to always answer and be, able to answer everything, but I'll do my best to, if I don't answer it personally, I will, Philippe and I can bring it as a topic in future podcasts or anything that we share. And so I'll make that a priority to be able to answer anything, especially if we're seeing a lot of the same questions. But yeah, we're here for you, and feel free to join the group and ask questions in the group. Again, I'll do my best to get to all the questions. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people in the future. So as we're doing this right now, we have more time. So definitely, if you're hearing this new, jump in now. If you need a little bit more support, because we'll definitely be more available, at the earlier time. This is, we're recording this in March 2024. So, and we're happy you're here. We're very honored to be a part of your journey, all of you that are listening.
Yeah, so look out for, in the group page, free workshops and discussions, Q&As. So we're going to be doing a lot of that and generating some questions and answers and having discussions. It's important for us all to share and we can all learn together.
Mm,
Brilliant.
beautiful.
So for now, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.